Welcome to the world of today, a world we're surprised humans still inhabit. We aren't always the smartest species, and these pictures will illustrate that loud and clear. While most of us aren't quite as brazen, as daring, as utterly stupid as these folks you're about to see in this video, it still makes you wonder just how much longer we'll be sitting atop the food chain. Kick off your shoes, grab a snack, and get ready to laugh at Dumb People Doing Dumb Things, Part 2. 16. Maybe he shouldn't have kids. We're not entirely sure because we aren't quite rocket scientists, but we feel as though starting a chainsaw between your legs isn't the best idea in the world. Is it wrong that we kind of hoped that this thing would start just so that we could see what would happen? Can you imagine having to go to the ER and explain this to the doctors on duty? We're sure something like this has to have happened at some point with all of the stupidity in this world. Do these types of people really need kids? 15. Buy some straps, why don't ya? You know what we don't understand? People that value the things they own over their lives. Yeah, it's nice to get new things and to be able to keep them in good condition, and in this case, get them home, but is it worth a life? This guy sure thinks so as he stands behind all of the things in this truck so that he can protect his investments. One little shift and that could be that. 14. Smoking hot. That's what this blonde lady would be were her cigarette to somehow ignite the gasoline she's holding in her hand. That or toasty. While we know that cigarettes don't typically have enough sustained heat for them to catch gas on fire, it would technically get hot enough when she's dragging on it to do so. So if she had some on her hands, and that made contact with her cigarette as she was sucking on it, she could potentially burst into flames. It looks like a bad idea, and we're sure this type of thing doesn't make her any new friends. 13. Could be quite the fall. We're not completely sure what these guys are doing. It looks like they're fixing or cleaning something in a very precarious place. They can't be professionals, because professionals wouldn't decide that sitting on top of an air conditioning unit is the best choice. But hey, more power to them. They found somewhere to sit on the side of the building to get their work done. They also probably didn't live very long after this picture. So RIP, boys. We could have told you what was coming. 12. How many guys does it take? This looks like there's something simple that needs to be fixed either on the gutter or the roof. Well, how many grown men does it take? And why are grown men using ladders like they don't know how they work? Wouldn't it be easier to move the wooden ladder down so that they don't need the metal one? And why are those two supporting the metal ladder like that? Why is he hanging onto the gutter? There are lots of things wrong here, and we don't understand. But to each their own, right? They are not the brightest light bulbs. 11. Quite the transport. When you don't have a safe child seat or one built into your bike, improvise. This looks about as safe as if they just had their kids stand on the metal piece above their back wheel and ride. There are so many things that could go wrong with this, many of which could lead the poor kid who has to sit there getting injured. It is creative though, but totally unsafe for a kid to ride in and totally stupid for a parent to try out. 10. 6 birds, 1 stone. We'd say that if there's one overall rule for dirt bikes or motorcycles, it would probably be that you don't shove 6 grown guys onto one. Seriously, how did they do this? We can see that they got 5 on the actual bike and then 1 on the other guy's shoulders. But how in the heck did they fit 5 men on the motorcycle in the first place? Where was this picture taken? Is this the only available mode of transportation, and is potential death better than walking? This leaves us with so many questions. We're wondering if these guys are even still around or if they all got taken out in one foul swoop in a 6-person fatality motorcycle accident. We think it's safe to say that this is 6 dumb people doing one really foolish thing. 9. No way this could backfire. Now, we aren't in the military, we don't have any experience with explosives, and we sure don't know how to handle them properly. But if we had to guess, we'd say that doing this with something that could blow you and your friends to smithereens probably isn't all that smart. Doesn't this just look wrong? Like, who takes a knife, jams it into the head of an explosive device, and uses the back of an axe to chisel or hammer down into it? Russians, that's who. The thing is, they even look terrified as they're doing it. So why are they? Anything for Mother Russia. 8. Is this a staircase? If these people are moving up or down along this freestanding structure, it constitutes one of the crazier staircases we've ever seen. We know that these people probably don't have much choice in being up on this thing, but it still seems pretty dumb to most of us not doing it. It does look as though they're somehow tethered to the scaffolding, but what happens when a little more than a slight wind comes by and blows this thing right over? Couldn't they have built an internal staircase on the building instead of this jankety thing on the outside? Too little too late. 7. Seriously? This is one of the more dumb ladder balancing acts that we've seen on the internet. And that's saying something, because lots of people do a lot of stupid things with ladders. Could this person not figure out any other way to get this ladder to stay in place? Or could they not find another place to put it to get the job done? Just look at the system they rigged up to get it to stay where it's at. Not only do they have the ladder itself balanced in the back of their cart, but they have to keep a stone block in front of the wheel of the vehicle to keep it from moving. Then they have a stick brace between the wall and the front of the cart to try to further ensure the vehicle's immobility. Creative? Yes. Dumb? Absolutely. 6. Securing more stuff. We already saw one dumb person trying to get their haul home safely, but here's another one for you. Oh, and trust us, there are lots of people who do this type of thing. Why can these people not just go out and buy something to help them move things? Like straps or rent a bigger truck, or come up with something better. They don't take into account what could happen to them, or even people driving on the road around them. If this guy fell out, there's no doubt that the cars nearby would swerve to get out of the way. This could cause all sorts of crazy accidents. The nerve of some people. 5. A motorcycle transport. If the last one didn't clue you into the fact that some people are just plain dumb when it comes to moving things, take a look at this. This is like the holy grail of dumb. It's not necessarily a fail. We don't know if this person made it where they were trying to go, but they made it this far. Come on though. They stacked all of those boxes on top of their scooter, climbed on top, and then rode it out into the populated world. This not only looks like a recipe for disaster, but it's pretty hilarious too. 4. A ghetto car shop. Take a look at this. We understand not everyone can afford their own jack to get their car up like mechanics at a shop can, but resorting to this looks like a terrible idea. First off, this doesn't seem very secure. It appears as though the car is precariously balancing on top of, well, whatever this is. And the pieces used to keep the vehicle up look about 100 years old, and as though they're rusted away enough to give out at any second. If you look closely, there's a guy underneath the car near the back, and if that doesn't give you goosebumps, we don't know what will. Not safe, guys. 3. Tiger tail. If there's one thing we know about tigers, it's that you probably wouldn't want to grab one by the tail. Even if this tiger is a baby, we don't think this is very advisable. We only assume this, though, as when our cat's tail gets stepped on or grabbed, they don't really react all that well. Or what if this tiny cub's mama is nearby, just waiting for the right moment to tear into this guy? The truth is, we don't know the situation. We're not the ones trying to catch this little thing, so we can't judge. It does look dumb though, and we wouldn't recommend anyone trying this themselves. 2. You must be new. The sad thing about this is obviously this girl's parents, or whoever taught her to drive, didn't even explain how people fill up their tanks. We're wondering if this is a photo snapped right after Oregon passed laws making it so that people have to fill their own tanks instead of an attendant. Has this girl never been to a gas station before or never seen anyone fill up? Do you wonder, as we do, how much she paid to get a full tank? Well, this is really, really dumb. You can't help but feel for this young woman. She doesn't even realize she's being used on lists of people doing dumb stuff all over the internet. Question. Oh man, we've seen a lot of truly idiotic acts of idiocy so far, and we still have one spot left on our countdown. But first, we'd like to ask you, what types of things have you done in your life that would make people wonder what your mental state was at the time? Is there anything you've come up with that was unsafe, ill-advised, or straight up dumb enough that you would have made your parents wish they didn't know you? We'd love to hear your answers in the comments below. 1. Balancing act. Okay, so we don't know whether this one is stupid or it's just pure talent and a big pair of shoes. This guy is balancing who knows exactly how far above the ground on some skinny rails with a giant camera, or whatever that device is. Not only that, but he looks exceptionally dapper while doing so. And we're not positive, but those don't look like the best clothes to be crawling around on the edge of death in. Sure, this is probably a bit dumb, what with the whole chancing falling to his demise, but it's also daring, amazing, and quite honestly, skillful. You're the man, man. If this video gave you a little more insight into the state of humanity these days, do us a favor and leave a like. Be sure to subscribe to our channel below or by clicking on the logo right here on your screen, so you never miss any of our awesome uploads. And check out this great video we've selected just for you.